everybody, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Keto Rewind and I am Jess. Thank you for clicking on today's video. I promise today's video is going to be packed full of good stuff. So if you are on a weight loss journey, if you're interested in the keto, if you're interested in carnivore, conquering emotional eating, all those kind of things, definitely hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications so you don't miss any videos. And also, if you really do like this video, please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment below. That really helps boost the algorithm. But today's video, I had to make some notes because there's a lot to talk about. So let's jump into today's video. Okay, so man, I don't even know where to begin. I guess the most obvious is we had a 90-day challenge for January, February, March. And the goal of that challenge was basically to establish a routine, be consistent, improve your relationship with food, meal plan instead of going out to restaurants. Let's see, what else did I miss? Anyways, I'll link some videos here about the goals of the Rewind 90 challenge. And a lot of you have been following along with me doing this, and I couldn't be more thankful at this point today for making that a challenge, because over 90 days, it was one of those roller coaster rides that finally ended in a point where I'm in such a better place. However, if I didn't put that work in, if I didn't crash and fail, if I didn't hit rock bottom, if I didn't make those routines and those choices, I wouldn't be here today in this place. So we're gonna jump all into that in a second. But the main thing is I realized there were two areas in my journey that I have not been addressing properly, or I thought that it wasn't as bad as it was, you know. So it was like an eye-opening experience. But if I had improved that relationship with food, lived the lifestyle like it wasn't a diet, was consistent every day, did the meal planning, you know, no eating out, that kind of thing, and conquered the emotional eating, weight loss would have been the added bonus. So when weight loss was not happening, it was pointing out and screaming to me, there's a problem here, we have to fix this. For the love of God, let's address this, Jess. Like that kind of thing. So there were no weigh-ins in this challenge. I think I weighed myself maybe 3 times over the 90 days. Like, I literally put up the scale. I got rid of Karen and I said, Karen, I don't need your bull. Like, I don't want to hear it right now, Karen, you know, just go away. So I named my scale Karen as a joke. But I kind of think maybe I should have checked in a little bit more often. I could have maybe let things, I don't know, part of me says I should have weighed myself more often. The other side said enjoy the freedom, that kind of thing, and make this challenge not about the weight. So I'm not sure which is the correct answer, but it is what it is. So as I was figuring out this whole 90-day challenge, figuring out and pointing holes at what was the problem in my journey, it made the whole process in the past 90 days look sloppy. It looked frustrating. It did look inconsistent, but there was a method to the madness. Like, I really had to hit that rock bottom point to really realize the absolute severity of my situation. Like, accept the facts here and stop looking at, like, you know, justification and that kind of thing. So that was a real big thing, a big pill to swallow. You know, I didn't want to accept these facts, but I did. So the end result was all of that hot mess, which I had a lot of victories too. Before I tear that myself up, I reestablished a workout routine. I established a routine in general. I think we ate out maybe 4 times over 90 days. Like, we didn't eat out. Every meal was cooked at home. Even the vacation. Now, not to say that everything was perfect, but that was another thing. It was something that I could just work on, have that control over. But there were 2 things that were not getting addressed, and that was this overwhelming reaction to feeling restricted and not understanding where that was coming from, and obviously not working on the full getting to the bottom of it of a emotional eater, an addict, to like identifying it's a food addiction and you have to treat it differently than say somebody else who does not have a food addiction. So what now? Well, I'm going to resume weigh-ins. I will get to a new updated weight as of today at the end of this video. But I want you to hear me out and let me explain and make this all make sense. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't judge so fast. Like, let me explain some things here. And I promise I'll reward you with a weigh-in. So, the Rewind 90 challenge pointed out my weak spots. And it forced me to begin working on it. And that meant more than just, okay, I'm not gonna eat that today. Like, no, there's something way down, deep down. It made me go way back, find the root of the problem, when it was a thing, when I became an emotional eater, like why I was an emotional eater. And it made me start digging deep. It was uncomfortable to dig deep. I don't have a cool story of why I gained all this weight. It was more like I just thought I could do it, and it came down to the point where, okay, I understand this is something that went on long before I ever had an obesity problem. It got worse when activity levels, dropped after you go off to college and stuff, and you become an adult and part of the real world. And those things that were so deep-rooted reared their ugly heads, and I didn't know how to deal with it. So I gained weight, I gave up. So, and then it brought me to the point where, okay, I can lose weight, but how do I keep it off? And it was just like, it made me really dig through this stuff over the last 90 days. And I apologize for seeming so like disoriented or not consistent, but I promise, like, you have to go through that stuff. You have to unpack it. You've got to dive deep to be able to get to where I am today. So, after I came back from my spring break vacation, remember we went to the beach, I hopped on the scale and I weighed 230 pounds. And it wasn't until that moment where I'm like, dang it, Jess, this is a bigger problem than you're letting it on to be. Like, this is not good. Like, you've lost 130 pounds, you get down to 180 pounds, and then you balloon back up 50 pounds, back up to 230. Like, there is something wrong here, like I'm not doing it right. So it was at that moment where I felt like rock bottom. It's like, I am so tired of this, so frustrated. And, I'm in the middle of a challenge. I'm supposed to be losing weight and getting it together, and it's not happening. And, so I hit rock bottom, and the only place you can go from rock bottom is to go back up and make that climb up the mountain again. So, although incredibly frustrating, it had to happen. So now, realizing that, you go on vacation and you take the breaks off and you go, you eat keto, but there's so many extras, there's no limits, there's just eat all the time. And, and it's just, it was eye-opening to see how out of control I really was, how much I was not in control of foods that trigger me. I can eat keto till the cows come home. I love eating keto, but I also love sugar. Sugary carbs, processed foods. I love those things too. You can't combine those two. There's a reason why I can't control myself around those foods. They're so highly addictive and palatable that you can't, there's no limits. They taste too good. So when something's too good to be true, it is. So at that point, I knew that was a problem, and I was like, all right, it's time to own this. It's time to do what I've been thinking about doing for the past year and a half that I did not want to accept, because if I accept it, I have to deal with it. It was more fun to live in denial and think you could fix it. Well, here's basically, that's where I got today. So going carnivore for 4 to 6 weeks meant all carbs had to go. Because if I'm gonna work on the emotional side of this journey, I can't be triggered by carbs. Like, I need something to help me out. I need something to shut Karen up right now and let me work on this. And by removing the carbs, increasing protein, having more fat, zero carb, it made a lot of stuff change in like a week. I guess it's almost been a week and a half by now since I started this. But by taking away those carbs and those triggers, those things where I'm like, let's snack, and all the snacking, and like, when I took that all away, I had the silence and the noise just went quiet, and it allowed me to feel things again. And I needed to do that because I was not in control. You cannot give an addict their drug. You can't. You have to treat it like an addiction. There's a reason why you can't give an alcoholic alcohol while they're trying to overcome it. Like, there's a reason why you can't give somebody, drugs that are on drugs. Like, you can't. They have to take it away and work on the head. And that's where I'm at this point. I am not saying I'm going carnivore forever. This is a 4 to 6 week thing that I'm doing right now to silence the noise, to focus 100% on new coping habits. If you take those snacks away, you take the food away, and you start dealing with stuff in life that's going to happen normally, it allows me to have a little bit of an upper hand to conquer those things. Because if I'm not constantly bombarded by sugar and triggers and all this other stuff and allowing all those snacks and allowing all those extras, I can't focus on fixing it. And I need to fix it. So, it's in order to me to take this next step, I have, and not yo-yo and have to re-lose weight over and over again, I've got to silence that noise and figure this out. So that's why I'm doing it right now. I never said all carbs are bad. Please don't judge that. I'm talking right now. I have to do this so that I can overcome my addiction. And as like a trade-off, so it's not too restrictive, because I do have trouble with restriction, I'm doing keto on the weekends. So Monday through Friday, my dad and I eat carnivore. Eggs for breakfast, a burger or something for lunch, dinners, chicken or beef or whatnot. And mind you, it's been really easy. It's tasted delicious, but that's Monday through Friday, and then come the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I do clean keto. So it's like, okay, now you can have your salad, you can have some green veggies, no big deal, and your regular, keto, but that does not include any of the sweeteners. It's zero. It's like literally meat, protein, fat, nothing else, nothing. So that I had to do that to clean up these areas. Even keto sweeteners, keto foods, all those things that are like made, those were all triggering me too, or those were pissing me off, which made me want the other thing better. So like all of it had to go. Basically like no frills keto, I guess that's one of the terms I see people throw around, or super strict keto, that kind of thing. So after doing this for like a week and a half now, it was an eye-opening experience. Most importantly, it's hard to snack when you are carnivore and you can't eat processed foods and all this other, it really eliminates a lot. So the times that I got stressed or, whatever, I couldn't turn to food. I had to redirect those things to other, more healthier coping mechanisms. I went for a bunch of walks this past week. I just got outside and had fun. We had great weather, like just easy things to do other than snack and self-destruct. So by increasing, I ate so much protein this week because how I swear by protein. I'm a protein fan, period. But when you take out the protein bars, the protein shakes, the protein treats, and all the stuff that comes with it, and you just have the freaking piece of protein, it's amazing how easy it is to hit your protein macros. So when I was having easily 140 to 160 grams of protein a day, and that was so easy to hit, and being that I increased my protein, I felt satiated, I felt full, I felt little to no hunger. I drank my water, and my water with electrolytes a ton this week, because when you're carnivore, you're gonna flush really fast, so you gotta make sure you have electrolytes and water and all that. It's especially when it's a lot warmer now, so I've sweat quite a bit in my workouts this week, so you have to replenish those things. But I couldn't even fathom how good it was gonna feel. Like, I knew all along I should have been doing it, but I was resisting. I wish I wasn't quite so stubborn and would have done this sooner, because not only do I feel great, but I don't have the urge to snack or eat because I'm full. You know, and you have like hormone receptors that can say, okay, she's eating protein, she's had enough. Well, I don't have those off switches when I'm eating carbs. Like, I don't know, it's not so loud in my head, like, Jess, you've had enough. Stop, put the fork down, you know. So by switching to this carnivore, ketovore way of eating, I felt full. and you know, and I'm just having, my plate looks empty. It's just a slab of meat, you know, or not slab, you know, it's like 8 ounces of meat. And, you know, it's like, how could that be enough? You know, like how, but it was in my head, and it was what my body wanted, and my body said, thank you, you know, and here's a couple of hours with no cravings since you just did that for me, you know, and that whole thing came together. And I didn't realize that, you know, when I'm making my kids snacks, my kids lunches the night before, and I'm having little bites of their little cheese puffs or whatever the heck, and I'm having that, you know, I'm not logging all of that food, and I'm having that food, and it's like mindless eating, and it's like, why? You know, like, so it was just so eye-opening to cut the snacking, cut the extras, and just tidy this stuff all up. So, and then obviously on the weekends, you got that veggie fix, because I love my veggies. It makes this way of eating kind of really doable. So, with Ketoivore, that is. So with that said, I plan on continuing eating Ketoivore for the next 4 to 5 weeks. I will readdress at that point what to do. But I really feel like I need a solid 4 to 6 weeks total to do this, to feel the effects, to change the habits before I can entertain going back to just keto and then going back with my, like, I've got to really work on these things, and with the least amount of distractions, put this work in and have that therapy that I desperately needed. This will allow me to work on it, and I'll just have some good progress, and that momentum is gonna start going again. And with that said, what is the challenge for this month? Well, it was not, for the most part, like 99% of you understood where I'm coming from. You knew this was a temporary thing. You knew that I needed to do this. You've been watching me struggle. You get it, you know, but there was some pushback, like, well, why would you go super restrictive again? And I totally understand, you know, why, like, I get that I completely understand why someone would say that, yes. However, at the same time, I knew what I had to do. So that inspired the thought of this challenge, or the theme for this monthly challenge of April. And it's the Yes to You challenge. And that means I'm going to stay in my own lane. I'm going to keep doing what I need to do to get what I have going on in my head fixed, so that I can have that path to success. And that means you need to do that too. If you want to join along with me, yes to you. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks about what you have to do. This is all you. That you've got to own it. And then that's the thing. Once you make that decision, say, I'm going to do strict keto from this point on. You know, own that decision. Don't feel guilty for doing that. You know, like, completely own it, live it, feel it, breathe it, you know, own it. And don't let anybody else make you feel like you're doing the wrong thing, because at the end of the day, you know what you need to do. I've known for the past 1.5 years I needed to do this, and I fought it, I resisted it, I knew it wouldn't get good feedback, you know, or I'd get some flack for it, but I knew all along I had to do it, and I just was trying to people please. And by people pleasing, I gained 50 pounds. And I don't want that for you. So I want you to do the Yes to You challenge with me, because it never gets easier. you just get stronger. But you have to find the ways to get strong again. And you know them, and you know what you have to do. Sometimes those are hard pills to swallow. And I didn't want to, I wanted to be in denial more and keep doing what I was doing. But eventually rock bottom comes and you're just, enough's enough. After this past week, I've been emotionally in a place that I have not been in probably at least a year and a half, maybe longer. Like the clarity, the things that I did Carnivore for was for the, brain fog, mental clarity, to tuning out the noise, to feeling good. It's just like, it's amazing to feel this way. Okay, so real quick, I know this is really off topic. I expect 100% out of my children when they do schoolwork, all areas of their life, sports, school, academics, everything. I expect 100% out of. That's my parenting philosophy. It's me and my husband's parenting philosophy. So when I'm asking them to do their best, I'm not expecting them to be like, valedictorian, but I am expecting to do their personal best and show up every day. And I remember one day, this past weekend, my daughter is a freaking star in softball, naturally. She hit 2 home runs, and one of them was a grand slam in just one single game.
Though I try to resist, I can't fight this. And no one makes me feel like you do. And no one sets my body on fire. And no one gives me shivers like you. Oh, no one does it better. How I try.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm asking her to do her best. She's shining right now. She is living her best life, and I'm not doing my best. That's unacceptable. I can't tell my kids to do their best and not be doing my best too. I'm leading here. They are getting my example and what I'm giving off. So that's why I thought that I needed to take this challenge seriously. I haven't been doing my best. I have been slamming my head in the wall for the past year and a half trying to fix this. So I was not doing my best though. I was finding ways to cut corners and get around things and live in denial. So no more. I'm living my best too. And I'm putting 100% effort into this journey, because if you don't put 100% into this journey, it will have you at rock bottom so fast and you will be back to yo-yoing. So, after feeling this well for, a week and a half or so, I've been doing Carnivore with my dad, I finally had the desire to get on the scale. And I hop on the scale and I'm just like, I was like, I know it has to be better than 230 at this point, but, still that 2 seconds of, and it said 224.2 this morning. And I was a little nervous because Aunt Flo showed up 2 days ago. She showed up on Friday, and I'm like, oh, really, right now? I'm going to have a weigh-in on Monday. I, got my stinking cycle. So, which was really good, though, because 224.2, man, that was a solid 7 pounds that just came right off. Felt amazing. Granted, a lot of that is water weight. That first week, you're going to have a big number. It will not be 7 pounds every week. My goal is 1 to 2. That's a healthier perspective. But it felt so good to see the number go down. It's felt so good to have not gained over a weekend. I've always been gaining for the past year and a half on weekends. It felt good to not gain on a weekend. It was huge, Yes to me. But point being, it felt good to own this part of the journey. It felt good I will be resuming weekly weigh-ins, because now that I've got the ball going again, that momentum is going to be moving forward, and I'm going to want to get on the scale, and and it's just it's all coming together again, and it has not felt like this in a long time. And even if I said it didn't before, it was not. Clearly, I was still a train wreck, but I feel like this way is my path to success. So if you're watching this far and you get it, thank you for always supporting me, for being here for me, and for listening and hearing me out, because these videos help me. And my goal, the ultimate goal, is to figure this out. To live a lifestyle that I swear by, live by, I want to do, and it's a process, and it's gonna be messy at times as I find my way, but I will find my way. I am not a quitter. I mean, it's just, it is what it is, you know. It's not gonna be easy. I'm just gonna get stronger, and I will be better at, you know, deflecting all the obstacles that come in my way, or I'll go over them instead of hiding from them, you know. So anyways, I hope you understand where I was coming from. I've got lots of good stuff this week. I will film what I've been eating, you know, for carnivore, and switching to keto and making it a Ketoivore week, so you get an idea. And I highly suggest you do this monthly challenge with me as well. Yes to you. Own it. Stay in your own lane, do it, and don't let anybody get in your way. Do it. I am Jess. That's all for today. You're watching Keto Rewind. Bye-bye!